If you are watching this instead of the Blue Jays game, I'm afraid to inform you that you are a sicko. However, we welcome all types here on the FlamesNation Afterburner show. Mike Gould's here with you alongside Kent Wilson on a Friday night where I expect we will have tens of viewers because the Toronto Blue Jays are playing Game 1 of the World Series concurrently with this. I can tell you, Kent, I went down the street from our studio to a nearby establishment in an effort to watch the game that we are discussing.
Yeah.
And they looked at me real funny when I said I wanted them to turn on the Flames game. And they did not oblige. They simply refused. Every one of those television sets was tuned to the mainline Sportsnet feed. The Flames were relegated to Sportsnet Flames tonight, which says a lot on this Friday night, on which they fall by a 5-3 score at the hands of the Winnipeg Jets. Kent, they have lost 8 straight.
Yeah, they didn't even do that last year, did they?
I don't believe so, no.
It's kind of a new thing.
I
think 11 is the record.
Something like that. Yeah. I said, I believe on a show earlier this season, that I thought they might start the season 2-8. I said that mostly as an exaggeration, but I suppose every exaggeration has a kernel of truth contained therein. And holy moly, they are horrendous. What is not horrendous? Afterburner is a presentation of Bet365. Whatever your bet, it is never ordinary at Bet365. Download the app and get in on the game. Use the code NATION. And also, Kent, better than watching the Flames game tonight, or if you did watch the Flames game tonight and you feel the need to spread some love amongst your fellow Calgarians, you can always contribute via the Afterburner Super Chat. Proceeds from the Super Chat go to the Youth Centers of Calgary, place where kids are welcomed and accepted as they are, where they can get a break from the chronic stress that is the reality of many of their lives and can flourish through connections and fun. The Flames lose this game by a 5-3 score. At the time that we're recording this, the Blue Jays are up 11-4 in the top of inning number 8 at the Sky Dome after a huge 6th inning, in which Addison Barger hit a pinch hit grand slam, the first pinch hit grand slam in the history of the World Series, which is absolutely incredible. So the Blue Jays are doing well. The Flames have lost 8 in a row, and we have a super chat already, and it is from our buddy RG 2008, who I believe is on Kent's side. Kent, you're not a big baseball fan. RG says, F baseball. Sorry, RG. We're going to be talking about this. At least I am going to be a little bit in this show. But Kent, sound off. You're not a big ball and stick fan.
No, I don't really care at all, to tell you the truth. And I played baseball when I was a kid, but I pretty much tuned it out as I grew up. And I'm happy for Jays fans. Sure, it's a good time, but yeah, I'm with RJ. I don't care.
Yeah, I'm the biggest fair weather Blue Jays fan in the world. But I do go every year. At least I try to go to the Sky Dome every year. I did not go this year. I couldn't make it in the summer. I had an invite to go with the Daily Face-Off crew, and I couldn't make it work. And boy, I think it's because I opted out of that they're actually doing so well. So yeah, I stayed far away, and the Blue Jays rewarded me for that. Hey, the Flames in this game tonight, Kent, wouldn't you know it, like the Blue Jays do right now, they had a lead at some point in this game. And it was our buddy Nazem Kadri who scored on the power play early in the first period of this game, with Morgan Frost and Zane Parekh getting the assists. Parekh, the secondary helper, a pretty standard play from the point, but it is his first NHL assist. Overdue, I would say, to see.
Special teams more than even strength is the reason they lost tonight.
Yeah, big time. The Flames end up going 1 for 6 on the power play. They concede a couple of goals shorthanded as well. So, they came out on the wrong side of things on the special teams side of the game tonight. The first period was quite good for the Flames. They outshot the Jets 9-5, but as has been the case for a lot of this season, they struggled to convert. They scored 3 goals on 33 shots here tonight, which is actually one of their better offensive outcomes of the year, because, a lot of their games they're scoring once. They have not been shut out yet this year, but they have been scoring once a lot. But the Jets are a team that can score in bunches. They did so many times last year en route to winning the President's Trophy. And wouldn't you know it, they scored 3 unanswered, well, 2 unanswered, 1 that was answered, but 3 in a row to start the second period. And Kyle Connor gets the party started with a play that really can be summed up by Mackenzie Weegar. What are you doing here, Pat?
Fling play from a veteran defenseman.
Yeah, Mackenzie Weir gets burned there. He was not the only Flame who got burned tonight. It kind of ran through the roster. A lot of Flames players got burned just by taking penalties. I mean, it was a very undisciplined night. Matt Coronado with a couple minor penalties, Morgan Frost with a minor penalty, Adam Klapka with 7 minutes in penalties. I don't know if Yasmin, if you have the fight that Adam Klapka had against Logan Stanley in this one. Adam Klapka is 6'8". When I covered the Calgary Wranglers, his teammates called him a golden retriever. And the one thing with golden retrievers is that they've never been particularly aggressive. Adam Klapka showing why he's not necessarily the greatest fighter in the league against a guy in Logan Stanley who feels like he's been in Winnipeg playing the exact same role for about 12 years now. And he gets kind of ragdolled on that one.
I don't know. I'll give Klapka some credit. He got a few shots in before he stumbled at the end. But it does kind of look like two giraffes kind of wrestling each other on ice there.
Yeah, it was something. It was, at least he put up a little bit of a fight. Jonathan Toews gets his second goal in as many games against the Flames. They're the only 2 goals he has scored this season. And of course, they've both come at the expense of the Jets' Western rival. Josh Morrissey, the Calgary product, gets the only helper on Toews as he tips one in from in tight. This was a play after his tenure with the Chicago Blackhawks came to an end.
Yeah, watching the replay, I don't know why they challenged that. There's really no contact whatsoever, and it's a fairly high bar for goaltender interference these days. So just being around the goalie in the crease is usually not going to be. It's certainly not going to call a goal back, right? So,
we have another super chat. It's from Mr. Public Pain, and I mean, come on, Mr. Public Pain. Wolf has not been the worst goalie in the NHL. Game 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Owns last place since game 1 of the season. Copium thoughts. I don't really put this on Dustin Wolf. I don't. Quite frankly, I will say this. I don't think there's a single player who I hold truly accountable for the start of this season. I think you can go up and down the lineup. There are guys who have been worse than others, but I think every single player on this team currently looks worse for being on this team.
Pretty much so far. And, Wolves' numbers aren't great so far this year. And, the first 3 games, there's probably a couple pucks that went through them where last year you wouldn't see it. But there's been other games, like both of them against the Jets and then Vegas, where guys are getting uncontested, clean looks from the deep slot and shooting it into the top corner on a power play. Tonight it was a 2-on-1. There was 2 or 3 of those. There was that deflection in the deep slot. I mean, these are high-class, grade A chances that are going on them. And it's just like, yeah, those are goals, right?
Yeah, there was really only one tonight that I think was a little iffy, a little crunchy. That was the Gabe Vilardi goal later on in this game. For the most part, I think Wolf did what he could. Vilardi is the next one up. He scored 3 in a row here. The Jets did, and he got the third of those in a span of under 5 minutes time position, but just sort of sneaks that one through, and not so much on the PKers. Wolf probably wants that one back.
Yeah, you can argue that, I guess, but it's still point blank, uncontested. That guy wasn't even being checked, right? So
yeah,
I'm not surprised when those go in.
We have another super chat from R&B 279. He thank you for that. Trade Weegar, he says, with Florida injuries would be a good fit. I mean, sure. I don't know. I mean, I don't really think Florida needs to add another long-term fit on defense after they traded for Seth Jones last year. They've got a lot of money tied up on defense. But sure, I mean, I think there are a lot of teams that would be looking for a player like Mackenzie Weegar. I think there are a lot of teams that would be looking for a lot of players on this Flames team. I think there are a lot of players who, again, like I said, are looking a little defeated being on this Flames team that has lost 8 games in a row. Quite frankly, Yasmin, you got the photo of Smithers. This is how I looked. I looked defeated when Pinder reminded me that I had to be on this show tonight. Yasmin, just oblige if you don't mind. It was, yeah, that was Kent and I's faces when we were like, oh, right, we are scheduled for tonight, a Friday night.
Friday night, yeah.
But quite frankly, it is a privilege because we have folks like R&B and the Rebuilding blog and Mr. Public Pain in the chat on this Friday night with us. We're spending our time with these folks, and it's time well spent. Truly. I'm the only one who I'm only half saying that about, perhaps, is Mr. Public Pain, but only because he's accusing me of lying. You lie. No, he hasn't been the worst. Wolf has not been the worst goalie in the league. I think you can put a number of goaltenders behind this team, and they would have save percentages that start with a digit sub 8.
The other issue for me is I'm not too worried about Wolf long term anyways. It's just it's not the top of my concerns. And the other issue is they're the lowest scoring team in the league. So
exactly. I'm just kidding, Mr. Public Plane. We're so glad you're with us on this Friday night. Another super chat. We're gonna set a record. We're gonna have the season high on super chats tonight. Boomer and I think collected about $400 on one show last year. That was the 3.5 hour show. G Fount YYC. Are we going for the record?
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I don't really know. Quite frankly, I don't really care. These games are blending together for me. You could tell me the Flames have already played 40 games and they've lost 38 of them, and I would have to think about it for a second before I said, no, I don't think that's true. But even that, I wouldn't know for sure. It's October, Kent. The season started 15 days ago. That's it.
Well, only 6 months left.
That is just awful. We got another super chat. Proceeds from the super chat benefit youth centers of Calgary. It's a place where kids are welcomed and accepted as they are, a place where they can get a break from the chronic stress that is reality for many of their lives and can flourish through connection and fun. That was the whole thing that Dean would do last year when we were on the show together, to really encourage folks to keep contributing to the youth centers of Calgary. He would just sort of go on and on every single time, remind folks about the youth centers of Calgary. And I think we got to keep doing that for the rest of the show. It's going to get people to really contribute. RG again. Is it me, or is Wolf's body language a huge tell that he was defeated or annoyed after each goal? I would be.
Yeah.
Would you get you would?
The team looks pretty annoyed at that. I mean, you can watch Uyghur pretty much the whole game, and you can see him like.
Well, yeah. I mean, I watch.
His teeth.
I mean, there was really only one line that I thought looked any good tonight. It was the Backlund line with Coleman and Honzik. The rest of the team, I mean, you watch Connor Zary out there. Do you think he looks particularly enthused?
Well, this was his best game, if you ask me.
And he was, yeah.
I mean, they didn't go anywhere, but at least they kind of had some looks, right? Him and Sharangovich, and I think it's Farabee, right? So
that's right.
They had their, they did accomplish anything, which has kind of been the theme for a lot of them. But
I think
you could see some of the old Zary a little bit, because up until now it's just been a total blank.
But it's just like it's frustrating. You can see it's frustrating for everybody.
Very frustrating.
I mean, here we are 9 games in, and Zary's got 1 point. That's really frustrating.
Does Michael Backlund lead the team in scoring now after
Kadri's got 5 in 9 games. Kadri is the only guy on the team. Everybody else other than Kadri is below half a point a game.
Right.
Everybody else. And I don't know. I mean, Uyghur's got 2 points in 9 games. Of course, Sharangovich has still got 1. Huberdeau only has the 1 point since he's come back. Right. Farabee, Anderson's got 2 points. They're both goals. Adam Klapka's got 25 minutes in penalties.
Yeah,
that's something. And a goal. It
was a nice goal.
Yeah. Matt Coronado's a -9 in 9 games. Mackenzie Uyghur's a -10. He's the only one on the team who has a lower one. I thought Coronado really struggled tonight.
Coronado struggled all year, but this was sort of his nadir, like the bottoming out so far, right? And he had the one game where he got 2 goals, and it kind of looked like the old, last year's version of Coronado, but so far he is struggling just everywhere on the ice. He can't handle the puck. He's fallen down. His skating seems to have taken a step back where it took a big step forward last year. He was involved on both ends of the puck to the degree he could play with Coleman and Backlund as a rookie and keep his head above water. And he's not clicking with any of his line mates this year. He bounced around and landed on the 4th line tonight.
Yeah, he did, and I thought it was deserved. You got to
Yeah.
hold everybody on the team accountable. I thought, obviously he had the bobble of the puck at the end. I thought Sharangovich had a better night than Coronado did. And it's a low bar. It's a low bar, but he won some battles. I thought he was one of the better players, I guess. I mean, you look up and down the list. The Flames had a lot of guys who had good possession tonight. Ryan Lomberg finished with an expected, there are levels to this,
Yeah.
We talk about certain players who meet expectations, right? And Ryan Lomberg is a guy who meets expectations by default because the expectations don't exist. Right. Truly. Tonight, in a game where the Flames had an expected goals percentage of 65%, Ryan Lomberg was at 3. Nobody else on the team.
He didn't play much either.
Nobody else on the team was below 35, Kent.
Yeah. Well,
this isn't a case of one line that was caved in. Like we're talking about, guys on the team who aren't producing, Zary, Sharangovich, Farabee, Anderson, Uyghur. These are guys who are, at least making plays to a certain extent above a certain threshold. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I expect.
Well, I mean, Lombo probably shouldn't be an everyday NHLer, even though such a great guy. Everyone loves him. You watch anything behind the scenes, and he's a glue guy, obviously, and it's probably why he's been in the league for so long.
Yeah,
he works hard, and he works hard to be the best player he can be on the ice, given his limited ceiling, and probably the best teammate he can be in the dressing room. But to be fair, he should probably be an every other night guy in the NHL at this point.
Yeah, the point that I was going to make was that you look up and down the Flames tonight, and Klapka's their leader in expected goals percentage at 97%. They had guys who absolutely dominated, who the Jets couldn't muster up anything when they were on the ice. Klapka, Hanley, Farabee, Honzik, Zary, Backlund, Sharangovich, those guys were all Coleman. All of those guys were above 75% on the night, and just really doesn't manifest in a whole lot at all. I think Farabee is leading the team in that category in the season, and he is
astonishing.
Well, I think his on ice shooting percentage through 9 games is 1.75%.
Yeah, and he gets looks every game.
It is staggering. So, it's something. We got a couple more super chats. Super chats are proceeds from the super chat go to Youth Centers of Calgary. It's a place where kids are welcomed and accepted as they are, a place where they can get a break from the chronic stress that is the reality for many of their lives and can flourish through connection and fun. We got 2 to get to. RG 2008 keeps just plugging them in. 279 to the Youth Centers of Calgary. Kent, we got 171 live viewers right now on YouTube. That is crazy to me. What are you doing? Go watch the Blue Jays. Is that game still going on? RG says, Team Tank, Mission, McKenna, they're going to have a real tough time having anybody else beat them out at this point. Keep on the way that they're playing.
Sabres won again tonight, right? So
it's
Calgary and San Jose.
Oh, Sabres are 500, Ken.
That's
right. The Sabres are back even. We're not even talking about the Sabres. The Sabres, no. they've got Josh Doan. He's a player. The Flames wish. The Flames wish. Matthias Samuelsson, a defensive defenseman, scored 2 goals for them tonight. The Flames don't even exist in the same
They've
category.
Scored 8 goals in one game already, right?
They have.
It was an 8 spot? Yeah.
We're gonna talk about the Sabres and the Leafs later on in this show, but it's an insult to the Sabres to bring them up right now. The Flames right now have 3 points in 9 games. The teams that are in their vicinity, the Tampa Bay Lightning, have 4 points in 7 games. We know they're not going to stay there. Like, come on. Well, it's getting ugly. We got another super chat. I'm not going to go with the whole Youth Centers of Calgary thing again, even though they are real good folks. But Richard Braley with $5. Craig Conroy has to go. He doesn't seem to have the moxie to rebuild this team. He cannot wait until the trade deadline to move some of these guys. Are you saying like he cannot wait until the trade deadline, as in he cannot wait? Like he shouldn't wait? No, or are you saying he can't wait? He can't wait to send these guys.
I think the issue with this is, I think this goes above Craig Conroy. It's kind of an open secret that ownership does really not want to lose on purpose in this market. So it probably doesn't matter who you bring in instead of Craig Conroy, right? They're going to have the same mandate as Conroy does. And now the issue with what's happening now is it becomes kind of, you really don't have any other choice the longer this goes. You're not making the playoffs. You're going to be out of the playoff picture by American Thanksgiving at this point. So yeah, if it becomes undeniable, then I think you're going to start to see Anderson shopped, Kadri shopped, maybe Coleman, because you're shadow boxing if you think you're going to make the playoffs when you're the last team in the league by December.
Yeah, you hit it right on the head. This team is going nowhere fast. They are 1-7-1, if my memory serves me properly. They are worse than the San Jose Sharks. Max Celebrini scored as many points last night as Nazem Kadri has all season. The Flames are just an absolute mess, and it brings me no pleasure to say that, but holy moly. Hey, Mr. Public Pain has some good words for you, Kent. And Kent, thanks for being more animated and showing your personality. Hugs, buddy.
I'll just get a couple more beers in me. We'll see where it goes.
Kent has. I don't think Kent is drinking the Temples tonight. No. I don't think Kent is into the 0.5% stuff tonight. We love Temple. We truly love Temple here at the Nation. But 8 straight losses. Maybe you mix one Temple in there, but the rest need to be a little bit stronger.
Yeah.
Not Soulkeeper says, can't wait to hear Rhett tomorrow. Tomorrow? It's going to be Saturday. So
Rhett don't work on Saturday.
Rhett has a hard time getting into this studio on Wednesdays. You are not hearing from Rhett tomorrow. Yeah. We got another super chat. Super chat's present by the Youth Centers of Calgary. R&B Uyghur -10, the worst in the league. Trade him now. That's the thing. When guys are playing so poorly that their value is going down, you gotta trade them. You gotta move them.
That is the problem when you're in the Flames position right now, because, and this is the reason other teams call you, because they have leverage, because your team sucks and your players don't look very good. So yeah, you don't want to trade. It's, the stock thing. Buy low, sell high. Don't do the opposite, right? So we'll hang on to them. It's a good season to be bad anyways with McKenna, and it's actually a very strong top of the draft anyways.
Very.
The Flames need blue chip prospects. We can see what happens when you don't have blue chip talent. It's going to be tough. But the other thing is at least they made it interesting tonight. Like it looked like they were out of it halfway through the game. They come back. They pull the goalie. They're within one. I'll be relatively happy if this, what I call the ethical tank, continues. Keep playing as well as you can. Yeah, let the chips fall where they may, but definitely don't go out there and try to fix something like, let's get another Frost Farabee trade going. Don't do that.
Yeah, you had an article out on Post Media earlier this week. I think I introduced you to the term ethical tank. I took it.
Yeah, I stole it from someone. Was it you?
It was me, but I took it away from our buddy Mike Bartner on Twitter, big Islanders fan. But yeah, it's a very good descriptor of what the Flames are doing right now. They are tanking. It appears to be the case. As Shohei Ohtani, I believe, just walked in the top of inning number 9 with 2 outs. I was hoping he'd be the last out of the game. But it is a tank that, still has the appearance, the plausible deniability of the team being competitive. They're just not good enough to win games. And they're trying. God bless them. They are trying. Boy, oh boy. I mean, the thing is, I just feel for the middle class and the lower class on this team. The upper class has really all gotten paid already, and they're producing at Nazem Kadri, 5 points in 9 games. It's sort of there. He's got 1 goal. I get it. It's grading on a real hard curve. Holy moly, though. Connor Zary, Morgan Frost, Sharon Govich, not Coleman, but Coronado. I mean, these guys, I bet you're sitting there being like, why do I have to play on this team? Why do I have to play on a team that can't score, has won 8 in a row, or had, God, if only they won 8 in a row, has lost 8 in a row. I mean, Joel Farabee has been getting so many chances. It is It is
It's like he's cursed.
unbelievable. It is unbelievable that he is not scoring. Yeah.
Well, one of my other columns a few weeks ago, as we're heading into the season, I said there's a bull and bear case for this lineup, and the bear case or the bull case was it like kind of depended on that middle class taking that big step forward. If they did, if you saw rebounds from Frost and Farabee, if you saw Coronado become a 30-goal scorer, if you saw Sharon Govich rebound, then this team might do something, at least as far as like maybe making the playoffs. But the exact opposites happened at the start of the year. Every one of those ships has sunk so far. And it's early, lots of games left. All these guys could turn it around at some point, but the team really can't see all of these, 26 and under players stagnate the way they are this so far, right?
Yeah, it's really for this team so far, if you're not on the top power play unit, which has not been that good either, but at least, that's sort of your only time to get offensive chances. If you're not on that unit, you're having a real tough time producing. I mean, the Backlund Coleman connection kind of came through tonight. We should keep talking, about this game. We haven't even gotten through half the goals yet because there is, a little bit of a milestone to talk about in Michael Backlund's goal, which was a nice goal in the second period with Blake Coleman and Sam Honzik getting the assists on it. Backlund sort of bearing in on Eric Comrie, making a nice one in the NHL. Has been a natural fit on that line and really great to see him get his first point.
Yeah, for sure. It's, of all those players I mentioned, you can probably put Honzik as the only guy that's exceeded expectations. Now, he has 1 point so far in the year. But as you say, he at least looks comfortable on a line which has a pretty tough assignment, with the caveat being that almost anyone who plays with Backlund and Coleman usually looks pretty good over time. But he definitely has tools, right? He can skate. He's got that. That was really good board work there. He's got a nice long reach. I think the question for me is, can he score enough at the NHL level to stick, especially when he's not being sort of babysat by two really good two-way players. But that is sort of the one encouraging, arrow forward that we've seen so far.
Yeah, I think it's absolutely true. I think Honzik being sort of the representative for the young forwards in the Flames system on the NHL roster right now is a good thing because as it stands, I think he is the one who is maybe most able to weather the storm of what is happening right now. The last thing that I want to see as a fan is a guy like Matt Vegridden back up and just getting smoked, which he didn't get smoked when he was up the first time. He sort of tapered off a little bit after his first couple games. By the same token, you don't want to mess with a good thing. And Gridden is having another good game with the Wranglers tonight at their home opener against Coachella Valley. He and Andrew Basha are really doing well. And quite frankly, the Wranglers, after being kind of unwashable in the back half of last season, I am totally here for them having some solid offensive players, young developing players who can really make them exciting, because that's exactly what those two guys are. And it seems like, a guy like Andrew Basha, I wasn't necessarily convinced after he had a really difficult year in the dub last year, wasn't necessarily convinced that the AHL was the right step for him at this point. He looks great. And Gridden is just a natural down there. He looks every bit like a future NHLer. So, you kind of want to keep that the way that it is, I think. But Honzik has done a very good job of battling through all that. And he gets his first NHL assist right there. So good on him. Hope he can keep it going. The Flames, though, do concede another power play goal in the final 70 seconds of this game, of the second period. Alex Iafallo from Intight, Gabe Velarde, and Mark Scheifele.
These sorts of goals that you've seen, where this down low play where one or two opposition players are wide open, uncontested, easy shots from the deep slot, and there's been half a dozen of those goals already, and they've said that the Flames have changed their system to a passive box, or I think they said this year, and they're working on it. It's just like, it is not working. And maybe it's on the execution side, but it's a disaster currently.
It really is. We should mention on the out-of-town scoreboard, the Blue Jays have have wrapped it up in Game 1 at the Skydome. They lead the World Series 1-0 after an 11-4 victory over the LA Dodgers. And you know what, Yasmin, I think you got the highlight of the biggest moment from today's game. It was a record hit by Addison Barger. I think we might have mentioned it earlier in the show. The first player ever in the history of the World Series to hit a grand slam as a pinch hitter. This one really opened the game up, took it from a 5-2 lead to a 9-2 lead in the bottom of inning number 6. Boy, was it ever something special to behold. Game 2 goes tomorrow night at the Skydome. Yasmin, do we have it?
In the 6th. And a high drive to deep right center field. It is gone.
And the only reason I want to mention this on the show is because, also the Blue Jays won. I just have to give a shout out to Rue on Twitter, who was absolutely on the money, tweeting out to me after I think the last Afterburner that I did. At Mike T. Gould, WTF are you doing? Talking about acting like Barger can't hit home runs. If you don't know F all about something, maybe keep your mouth shut about it. He had 21 bombs and 74 RBI this season. Acting like he can't hit home runs shows how dumb you are. F you. To which I say, you're absolutely right, Rue. Thank you for putting me in my place.
Your lumps. Yeah.
Addison Barger with a grand slam. That's pretty good. Hey, RG, another super chat brought to you by the Youth Centers of Calgary, place where kids can feel nourished and passionate and whatever the read says. RG 2008, $6.99. Since we are talking about other sports, how are the Stamps doing? Kent, do you care about the CFL?
Nobody cares about the CFL. Come on.
Oh, that's not a very nice thing to say. Well, the Stamps lead.
Which is to say, I have no idea. Yeah.
There you go. The Edmonton Elks trail the Stampeders 19-10 in week 21. There are 21 weeks in that league. Holy moly. In the third quarter, that game is available on television. You can tune into that if you really want to. The Flames made it a 3-2 game. Iafallo made it 4-2. The Flames did get one more in the third period of this game. It was Blake Coleman converting on a nice little passing play from Backlund. Kevin Ball gets the secondary assist on Coleman's at just under 5 a year. But I really wonder if things do start to turn sour, and I think things have already started to turn sour. But if they continue on this path, a guy like Blake Coleman making less than 5, but what if you take him down to less than 2.5? That's a player who I think would command a lot of interest, and it doesn't really matter what his production looks like, but he's one of the few guys who's sort of producing at his regular pace.
Yeah, and for my money, he's been probably the most consistent skater on the team so far this year. And you're kind of seeing Backlund slow down a little bit, which is fair because he's 37 years old and he's still playing some of the toughest minutes, maybe in the league, at least on the team. So there's been some games where it looks like Backlund might be falling off a little bit. This wasn't one of them. He played great, but Coleman has been pretty consistent from game to game. He's got championship, experience. I think lots of teams would knock on the door for the Flames. A lot of contenders too, especially as the season goes along, right?
We got a super chat. Super chat's presented by the Youth Centers of Calgary, a place where kids are welcomed and accepted as they are, a place where they can get a break from the chronic stress that is the reality for many of their lives and can flourish through connection and fun. I'm going to say that every time from now on. Trade Coleman will value as high with a whole 3 goals, says R&B. 3 goals. That's where we're at through 9 games. That qualifies as a hot streak for the 2025-26 Calgary Flames. He's scoring at a pace that is hitherto undreamt of, I would say, for anybody in Calgary. Blake Coleman on pace to perhaps crack the vaunted 20-goal mark at this pace this season. Wouldn't that be something? 20 whole
Pretty
goals.
Good.
That's better than what Connor Zary and Yegor Sharangovich are doing. That pretty much sealed the deal. The Flames had a 6-on-4 late. They had a puck that sort of bounced away from Sharangovich, and Nemesnikov took it and yanked it down the ice. Kind of a tough break. It wasn't really a play that I would expect really anybody to make. It was a pretty hot puck, but nevertheless, just another tough outcome for number 17. Nemesnikov gets his third of the season on a 170-foot empty netter. and that seals the deal. The Flames fall 5-3 in this one. A game that Kent and I certainly both would have watched had we not been booked to be on this show tonight. Kent, any last thoughts about tonight's effort from our valiant heroes from Calgary?
Not really, and honestly, I thought they were the better team at even strength through most of the game. But as we've said, like, unfortunately, the Flames don't have just one weakness. I mean, it's their most famous weakness right now is their offense, but their special teams are actually the last few games have been an Achilles heel, quite frankly. I think before they scored on the power play tonight, they were 0 for the last 10, and their PK has been given up like 2 a night pretty consistently recently. So there's lots of cracks in the dam, unfortunately, and I don't know when it's going to stop, but as I said, this is a good season not to be good anyways.
With Joel Farabee on the ice tonight, the Flames at 5-on-5, the Flames outchanced the Jets 10-0. With Zane Parekh on the ice tonight at 5-on-5, the Flames outchanced the Jets 10-3. With Sharon Govich on the ice tonight, the Flames outchanced the Jets 6-2. The only guys who got outchanced at 5-on-5 tonight, let's sort of list them off one by one. It was Weegar 10-9 for the Jets, Ball 7-6, Frost 5-4, and then here are the 2 lopsided ones: Ryan Lomberg 6-1, and Matt Coronado 11-6. Jets. The chances at 5-on-5 with him on the ice, not really what you want to see from a guy who has been very, very good since sort of making the jump to being a full-time NHLer last season. But he's got to be better.
Yeah, he's fighting it. Yeah, he's bad all over the ice. It's probably the worst hockey I've seen from him. Since the first 10 games he had in the league. So I think he'll figure it out. I've always been a big fan of Coronado. I really supported him last year, and he took big strides. So it's just something he's going to have to play through. Absolutely.
The Flames fall to 1-7-1 in this one. That's not a real winning record. You know who does have a big-time winning record, Kent?
Tell me.
Our buddy Derek Newman over at CIR Realty. If you're buying or selling, let Derek do the work for you. He'll get the win for you. Email him at dnewman@cirrealty.ca or call 403-619-6661 or visit dereknewmangroup.com. Derek's got a people-first approach, unmatched service, trusted experience, and community and connection even beyond real estate. So go to dereknewmangroup.com or call 403-619-6661. Let Derek put his network to work for you. His network is probably a little smoother, probably has smoother connections, clearer connections than the Flames do when they move the puck around. And hey, the only thing the Flames need to do for me to stop taking these little jabs and these ad reads is to start putting them puck in the net and winning some hockey games. I don't know if that's too much to ask, but we will see. Hey, you know what? Works out either way because we might be on the road ahead to Gavin McKenna, and that takes us into the road ahead. Brought to you by Platinum Mitsubishi, family owned and operated by lifelong Calgarians. At Platinum, lease and finance rates on Outlanders and Outlander plug-in hybrids start at 0%. Get ready for winter with a brand new SUV. Try out the Eclipse Cross or RVR for 5-seat options, or the Outlander for a 7-seater. You can get in the best back cars in the country with a standard 10-year powertrain warranty at Platinum Mitsubishi, 2720 Barlow Trail Northeast. You can't hand out 10-year contracts in the NHL anymore, but you can get a car with a 10-year warranty up at Platinum Mitsubishi. And the road ahead, Kent, I mentioned it off the top. We were saying earlier on in the season how much of a gauntlet the Flames' October schedule looked like, and it is definitely living up to that billing. The Flames have really struggled. They are 1-7-1. It's the worst start they've ever had, and it continues onward here as October is not finished. They still have some tougher tests up ahead, albeit maybe tapering off a little bit. They're getting into some teams who have fallen off the map slightly relative to, the Jets and the Golden Knights and the Oilers. Their next meeting is up against the New York Rangers on Sunday evening at 6:00 here at the Scotiabank Saddledome. The Rangers have had a bit of an up and down start to the year. They're following that up with a trip to Ontario. They're taking on the Maple Leafs on Tuesday afternoon, a Tuesday 4 p.m. Mountain start. I believe they maybe moved that out to accommodate the World Series. I don't know, something like that.
Okay.
And then, the Senators at 5 o'clock Mountain on the Thursday, the 30th. That will wrap them up for October. As you get into November, you start to see maybe a little bit of an easier stretch. But the problem is for this Flames team, when you're 32nd in the league, every team is better than you. And
Right.
every
There's
team
no
has
easy
a better
stretch.
record. There's no such thing.
There's slightly less difficult stretches.
Yeah, exactly. So November starts with games against Nashville, Philadelphia. That's a back-to-back on the road. That's some tough travel, Nashville to Philly.
Wow.
And then Columbus at home, Chicago at home, Minnesota, St. Louis on the road, San Jose at home. So, there's some easier stuff in there in theory. Yeah. Of course, Kent, what did we see so much last year, if not the Flames playing well against good teams and playing poorly against teams behind them in the standings? So who's to say? It might be getting close to maybe 5-15 before the end of November. It'll be.
I'll take it.
Yeah, we'll see. What's your take? Rangers, Leafs, and Sens to finish the month. What's your take?
1 and 2.
Yeah,
they beat the Leafs.
That sounds about right. I mean, we're going to talk about the Leafs here because of our Bet365 bet of the day, and it's a game that we just saw, albeit the first end of a home and home between Buffalo and Toronto. Game goes tomorrow. It is in Toronto, I believe. Buffalo in to take on the Leafs. And Buffalo, we mentioned earlier on in the show, the Flames would love to be Buffalo right now because Buffalo is back up to 500. They are 4-4-0. They're in third place in the Atlantic Division. The Flames are definitely not in third place in their division. Buffalo against Toronto tomorrow. Toronto is 3-4-1, Kent. This is Buffalo taking on a team that is, as of now, below them in the standings in the Leafs. The Leafs are a little bit favored in this one, but they're without Joseph Woll. Anthony Stolarz has had a bit of a mercurial start to the year, and we'll see what happens tomorrow, as it was Buffalo that took a 5-3 win on home ice today. As we mentioned earlier on in the show, Matthias Samuelsson getting 2 goals in the winning effort. The Leafs look to be missing Mitch Marner in a big way.
Yeah, are they panicking in Toronto yet? I think the heat might start getting turned up here, especially if they lose to Calgary, which is why I'm kind of hoping for that one.
Yeah, you always want to see trouble in paradise with the Leafs. It can always blossom into something kind of entertaining. We'll see what plays out there. Yeah, Samuelsson 2 goals and a +4, playing 23-38 of ice. Wow, that's something.
Weren't they trying to trade him in the summer? Like, wasn't he like a cap dump or something?
Yeah,
well,
another goal and assist for Tage. I said it before the year. I like Buffalo as a playoff team this year. We could see it potentially with the Atlantic sort of stumbling. Everybody in that division right now, aside from Montreal, is kind of not really my cup of tea. Montreal is like the only team in that division I like right now. Detroit is in second place.
Ooh.
Detroit is in second place. Buffalo's in third. And then the Leafs are 3-4-1. The Senators are 3-4-1. The Bruins are 3-6. And the Lightning are in dead last in the East. What is happening?
I don't think that'll last, but that's pretty wacky. Yeah,
it is absolutely crazy. And I forgot to mention Florida in there as well. They're 4-5. Losing Barkov and Tkachuk has really hurt them. Sam Bennett is off to an awful start in the first year of his 8-year deal. He's got 1 goal and 1 assist and is a -9 in 9 games.
Yeah, that's well.
Would you have given Sam Bennett an 8x8?
No, but by respected player, he's good in the playoffs. But
Conn Smythe,
he's never even hit 60 points in a season.
He's hit 50 points once, Kent.
I know, yeah. It's too much for just the postseason, which is a strange thing to say, but he's probably not going to get better over the course of that contract. But good for him. Got the bag, got a couple cups.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hey, maybe the Panthers will turn it around, maybe the Lightning will turn it around, but for now, the 3 divisional teams in that division, Montreal, Detroit, and Buffalo, did not expect to be saying that 2 weeks into the season. Hey, guess what, folks? If you're looking for a way to get out of the funk of watching the Flames, or to try and, put good willpower out into the universe, try and help the Flames along as they look to weather this atrocious start that they have gotten off to, why don't you head over to the Unicorn? Or go over there to watch the Jays. I mean, that sounds like a way better idea. One of the talking points we've got here is all Jays playoff games with sound. That sounds a lot better to me than anything to do with the Flames, but we should mention they are Calgary's super pub, and they're one of the official homes of the Flames. So, it'd probably be a lot more fun to spend your time at the Unicorn than walk over to the Saddledome and watch a team that is 1-7-1. But do it. Go over to 4th Street or 8th Avenue Southwest. 2 locations. They're great folks. Kent and I went over there before the season started when we were still fresh-faced. We hadn't watched 9 games of this, and we had a great time. We were just treated so exceptionally well. The 8th Avenue location in the heart of Stephen Avenue, 4th Street, real close to the Saddledome. You can walk there without, breaking a sweat. Just head on over to the Unicorn. You'll have a great time, and maybe you'll run into one of us. Maybe that's where I'll head over and watch tomorrow's game for the Blue Jays, because I'll be frank, Kent. I wasn't expecting them to get off to a 1-0 series lead against this Dodgers team, and I came dressed for the occasion. But even then, I was wearing a sweater over top of it just in case things went bad. And hey, we're off to a good start. I'm pretty happy. Let's get some more super chats in here. We're just about finished for the night. We had said before we went on we weren't going to go over 30 minutes, but you know what? We've had some stuff to talk about. It hasn't been an awful night. Over on the AHL side, let's just do a little bit of bookkeeping there. We mentioned earlier on the Wranglers. They lost this game. They lost 5-4 to the Coachella Valley Firebirds in Danil Miramanov's Wranglers debut. But they did get good stuff on the part of Rory Caron scoring, Matt Vagridden scoring. They both assisted on each other's goals. Andrew Basha assisted on Clark Bishop's first of the night. Jagger Firkus, though, with 2 in the third period. The Wranglers get, they outshoot Coachella Valley 37-26. But tough goaltending performance from Owen Say as he allows 5 on 26 shots. And the Wranglers, their elusive start to the season continues as they are currently 1-2-1 with a -5 goal differential through 4 games. Might have to head on down for a game at the Saddledome here some point soon because they are fun to watch, but that's another game where if the Flames had lost that way, you'd be saying that's an ethical tank game. No such thing no such thing in the tank in the AHL.
No, it's just a loss.
Just a loss. They're back at it tomorrow at the Saddledome at 6:00. So head on down. If you're not watching the Jays, I'm sure they'll have the Jays up on the scoreboard during the intermissions. They probably did tonight as well. If I know the way that they do folks over there at the Saddledome. Let's get some questions in here. Let's get some comments in here because, Lord knows there's a lot that we have to talk about. Tyrus, we appreciate you. Flames aren't winning, but I love the Flames Nation community. Thanks, guys. And Cammy getting her own separate shout out there. We appreciate it. Rebuilding blog, Derek Newman has a clearer connection than Kent. That's pretty good. Matt C. This is interesting. Coronado has no chemistry with Kadri. He scored most of his goals last year with Backlund. What are your thoughts on that? Yeah,
I was never a supporter of the Kadri Coronado sort of thing. I looked up their numbers last year, just when they kind of launched with that combination, and they weren't good together last year, and they haven't really been good together this year. And part of it is like Kadri wants the puck, he wants to be a trigger man on his line, and Coronado wants to be a trigger man. So if you've got a center who's not feeding a pure shooter on the right side, it doesn't seem to be working very well and has never worked well. Now, I understand why the team kind of wants that to happen, because with Huberdeau, those should be the 3 sort of best offensive players on the team, but there just doesn't seem to be an ounce of chemistry there whatsoever.
Doogie with a good question. Gould and Kent, there is going to have to be a time when Cairns and Gridden get the spots ahead of these other plugs on the Flames roster. I mean, yes, I bristle a little bit at even saying that the guys on the Flames are plugs. Like, I just think they're in a really tough spot. I think Connor Zary is in a really tough spot for, I will say, I don't think he's been very good. No. I think he's struggled actually quite a lot, But by the same token, I think there are a lot of other environments in which Zary could be playing around the league, and he'd be producing. He'd probably be looking a little bit more confident. Confidence is a huge part of this. They're 1-8, they're 1-7-1. I feel for guys like Joel Farabee. I've mentioned it. I feel for Matt Coronado, even Sharon Govich, Morgan Frost. They're guys on this team who I think if you put them in different positions, even, in spots where they're maybe on a top power play unit or the power play unit that looks better, it's something. I feel for that. But so that to that point, I don't necessarily know about pulling up a guy like Gridden or Cairns, because I just don't know if they would fare any better. And I don't think that's what you need these guys to be going through. Matvey Gridden, I don't want him to be, trying to create offense on a team that is just not tailored to his style of play. And I think that's exactly what the case is, even though he is theoretically good enough to break out of that mold, break out of that style of play, like talented players do in systems like this. But he's 19 years old. There's really no reason for it. There's no season worth saving here. And there's really not a whole lot I think you're going to accomplish in putting this guy in right away. Rory Cairns, I get. I would love to see Rory Cairns. I think he has earned that look. But by the same token, I just don't think with the number of forwards you have right now, and especially considering the number of forwards you have that aren't producing, you need to wait until you clear guys out, I think, a little bit. And I think that will happen. To me, and I said this to you earlier off mic, Kent, it speaks volumes in a big way to me that we heard all the news today about Nazem Kadri and his no trade clause, and the fact that, after all, it is a 13-team no trade list. It's not a no move clause this year. That to me speaks volumes, because that says to me, there have been people in the organization talking about his no trade list. There have been things that, if this is all rosy, I don't think that distinction ever gets corrected. I don't think that distinction ever gets made. But the fact that we're even at this threshold 9 games into the season, where Elliot Friedman comes out and clarifies that as the number one point in 32 Thoughts, and it leads to people being like, this corrects a piece of knowledge that we had previously. That says to me that this is an active topic of conversation, not just with the Flames in their organization, but around the league. And I think what we're going to see is things that happen that move out some of these players, move out some of the depth, some of the logjam, and get these guys up eventually.
Yeah, I think the big issue is kind of what we saw with Soloviev, right? That's the Flames have, Gridden's 19. He can probably be in the AHL for a year or two without any issue. But the Flames are now getting a lot of graduates into their pro pipeline, and they're all kind of building up below the parent club, right? You've got Solovyov, Grushnikov, Kuznetsov, Poirier, Moran's playing his first pro season this year. You've got a whole bunch more of those guys who are going to graduate in the next 1 or 2 years. So you got to start learning what you have in the 20 to 23-year-olds who are in your pro pipeline. Like Cairns is 23 and he's played 4 NHL games. They still don't know what they have in him. They lost Soloviev on waiver because, again, they didn't really know what they had in that player, and they opted for the devil they know in Jake Bean and Hanley and Pahal, right? So it's just like at some point the team has to start making decisions on these sort of elder prospects. Stromgren's going to be another one here, right? So it's just like, we have to start either clearing these guys out or playing them in the NHL so we know at least what we have on our hands, right?
It's certainly worth discussing. We will have lots of opportunities to discuss it as the season goes on, because Kent, God bless you, God bless me, God bless everybody in the chat. We have got 73 more of these to do, and it's going to be an absolute treat. But we do have to thank some folks, some really good, nice folks over at Bet365, the U Centers of Calgary, the Derek Newman Group with CIR Realty, Platinum Mitsubishi, and the Unicorn. We got Yasmin here in studio today producing. We got Kent on the mic over in his house with Wi-Fi that he probably needs to upgrade. My name is Mike Gould, saying thank you all for tuning in. The Blue Jays lead their series 1-0. Game 2 goes tomorrow at the Skydome. The Flames back in action on Sunday. Until then, we'll say so long for now. You've been watching Nation Network presentation, The Afterburner Show.